All the young dudes carry the news. All the young dudes. Hey, I'm a young dude. Well, I think I am sometimes, but a lot of times I don't feel like a young dude. I'll tell you that right now. But you know what? I don't give a you know what. Because who cares when it's all said and done? My name is Paul Kalamir. This is your city, your voice coming to you live. And if you don't believe that's your city, your voice, look up there. There's the sign. What'd you do? Think I stole it or what? Your city, your voice coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. Straight out of the shotgun here at 4680q.com. That's where you listen to the show live at noon. If you're already listening, check out the video. I post it later by about 3 o'clock. If you miss the show live at noon, you can always go to YouTube, X, Rumble, and Truth Social to catch the show on video, the podcast of the show. While I'm taping it and doing it live on the radio, I also do a video here, so I can post it later on. Oh my goodness, Trash Talking Tuesday today, across from the Meteor Crater, right here on Chrysler Avenue, 4609 Chrysler Avenue in Niagara Falls. That's where the studio is. And what a beautiful morning. I got up at 5:76 degrees. Unbelievable. And I had to step outside at 5 in the morning to see a celestial sight. That's right. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But right now, I just want to say, do you remember way back in May, I was saying that Mother Nature never lies? You know that. The maple tree in front of my house was dropping whirligigs. That's what we call them. Keys, I think they call them. Like crazy. There was thousands of them all over the place. Thank God I have gutter guards or they would have blocked up my eavesdrop. But they didn't. And I said, that's Mother Nature telling us it's going to be a hot, dry summer. When they drop a lot of keys, a lot of them don't have a chance to grow. So they drop more when it's going to be a hot, dry summer. It's going to be a wet summer. They drop less because more are going to grow. It's pretty simple. Watch the keys on the maple trees. And here we are. It's supposed to rain today, but with only an 11% chance of rain today. You're not going to see any rain. Don't count on it. Tomorrow looks like the day, 55% chance of rain. We'll see. We've seen that before, and it's just gone. And just so you know, the Vineland Weather Station has recorded 0 rainfall so far this month. So we're 12 days into it, 0 rainfall. Unbelievable. That's dry. Oh, it's good, though. I like this hot weather. In about 3 months, everybody's going to be crying. It's so cold out. And they're going to start paying thousands, and I mean thousands. It is not cheap to go anywhere today. They're going to be paying thousands to head south. They're going to wish they had this weather. Pay thousands for it in a couple months. Down in the Atlantic, first hurricane of the season is building up in the Atlantic, headed towards the Caribbean. Tropical storm Erin is on the move. Heads up, my Floridian friends. It's coming your way. Let's hope it makes that big right-hand turn and goes up the Atlantic rather than taking aim at the seaboard, the eastern part of Florida, the eastern coast. And it stays out at sea anyway. But now you're going to start seeing them churning up off of Senegal, coming through the Cape Verde Islands, by Africa, streaming their way across the Atlantic into the Caribbean and causing havoc. And I don't know, it's pretty warm, man. Everything's pretty warm, so it could be an interesting season. Now, what was that celestial sight that I walked out the door at 5 in the morning to look at? Well, if you look in the eastern sky, you're going to see 2 big lights up there. One's Jupiter, the biggest one is Venus. Venus and Jupiter shining bright in the eastern sky, clear as a bell. With the weather we've been having, it's clear as a bell. You can see them, and they're bright. They're very, very bright. When you look out there, you go, whoa. Yep, that's Jupiter and Venus. And, of course, tonight and tomorrow night are the Perseid, whatever they're called, meteor showers. So if you lay in your driveway on your gravity chair and look straight up to the north, you're going to see a bunch of meteors. Now, I'm going to tell you, I've done this So many times. I can't tell you how many times I've been out there in my gravity chair waiting to see this celestial display of meteors. Meteorite. I haven't seen anything. Seriously, you start seeing things. You'll keep looking up there. You start seeing things moving around and stuff. But I've never seen them. I don't know. I try. I never see them, so I gave up. But they're supposed to be out there. Maybe if I went out to some dark place where there's no ambient light, I'd be able to see them. But so far, I haven't. But what I do see here is my sponsors: Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Pete's Pizza Victoria, Hamill Machine Company, and the Niagara Parks Commission. This is the time of year you want your car to be running right. Well, you want it to be running right all year, but especially now because this is your last shot in the last few weeks of getting out and taking a trip somewhere before the kids go back to school. You say, but Paul, it's only August. Well, yeah, it's only August. Guess what? You got 2 weeks left in August, and then your kids are going to be heading back to school. We have a long weekend. You better sharpen up. You better make sure your car is running right so you can take advantage of the rest of the summer and go somewhere nice with your kids, right? Why fool around? Take your car to Wild Bill's. He's going to throw it on his diagnostic equipment. He's going to check out for any error codes on your computer and fix them for you before they fix you when you're on the road. You don't want that to happen. You want to be proactive. You'll check your fluids, check your brakes, check your air conditioning. Make sure all systems are go, excuse me, for a great summer. And he also has a full body shop there for your information. So if you get in a wreck, you take your car there, it's wrecked. Excuse me, I got the hums. Take your car. If your car's wrecked, take it there. He's going to fix it, send it back to you in showroom condition. What's wrong with that? Sounds like a plan to me if I get in a wreck. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Oakwood Drive, next to the Kia dealership. Tell them Paul from your city, your voice sent you. Excuse me. I get out in this humid weather, hot humid weather, and I hums all the time. But yeah, go see Wild Bill. Go see Ken Hunter at Wild Bill. He's gonna take care of you. He's gonna take care of you. And while you're in there looking for his website, wildbillsauto.ca, don't forget to subscribe to this video. Go to YouTube, Rumble X, or Truth Social. Subscribe to the video. You'll get notifications when I drop one on any of these platforms. And you can watch them. Comment. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Come on, let's go. Let's get involved. The more involved, the better we are when people get involved. Okay, speaking of weather, due to the extremely dry condition, burn bans have been issued across Niagara, which whatever that means. I mean, they tell me about burn bans, but you know what? I live 300 feet, maybe 100 yards from the fire station on Morrison Street. And there's a guy that lives behind me. It's on Morrison Street, Finland Morrison. And he gets these fires going that are 10 feet high. And they're smoking. I mean, they're so smoky, you think a house is on fire. You can smell it inside. You go out and you look around and see what the hell's, and there's this guy burning all kinds of crap. I don't know what he's burning, but it's smoking like hell, blowing across all the houses. Now, that guy lives 200 feet from the fire station, and nobody goes over there and tells him to put it out. So a fire ban, burn ban. Where? When? Who? This guy does this all the time, and never a firefighter goes to his house. Are they cooking dinner when he does it? Unbelievable. Yeah, he burns everything in there, too. I don't know what the heck. It's so smoky. It's supposed to be green wood, or I don't know what the heck he's burning, but it smokes like crazy. Nobody goes over there. I thought the house was on fire. It was smoking so bad. You got to be able to see it from the fire station. It's right there. It's crazy. One day you couldn't even go outside. It was so smoky. Go outside and you start coughing. Weird. So fire ban. What fire ban? I never seen no fire ban. Where's in the city fire ban? Oh, but anyway, tell them no open air burning is allowed. Niagara Lake, West Lincoln. and PC, Port Colborne, have joined the ban. Welland issued its own ban late Monday, and St. Catharines followed suit. So they're all banned, but not Niagara. Niagara and Waynfleet. No bans here. They're going to reassess if there's no rain by the end of the week. So we don't have a fire ban here. You want to go in the meteor crater to set fire to all those weeds, have a fire over there, go ahead. No ban. There's no ban in the city. And this isn't just the Niagara region, though. All of Ontario is in the crosshairs of the drought. In Kawartha Lakes, water bombers were brought in to tackle a major fire that had grown to 27 hectares, whatever that is, as of Sunday. And we all know what is happening in the northern reaches of other provinces. We see the smoke migrating to Niagara from those fires. In Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, you can't even walk in the woods. You want to go for a nice walk in the woods? Forget about it. Huge fine if you're caught. $25,000. If you run a red light, $200. You walk in the woods, $25,000. Smokey the Bear does not want you visiting his hood. Now, of course, this is a national advocacy group is threatening Nova Scotia with legal action over this. Of course, how can you ban people from walking in the woods? Walking through the woods not doing anything, how can they stop you from doing it? They claim Nova Scotia has overstepped their power, and although the group supports a burning ban, finding people for hiking, camping, fishing, and picnicking in the woods is a step too far. They understand the bans, but at the end of the day, I was thinking about this. I'm all for freedom and all that. I'm all for freedom. Free to do what you want. First Amendment and all that other stuff. But you know what? There comes a time when you realize that most people are irresponsible and they need laws. The reality is, if they understand the bans, they say they don't want to let safety and fundamental freedoms, nor our freedom to move around our communities, get lost in the mix. Our freedoms trump laws, bans, the Constitution. But at the end of the day, I'd agree with these guys. But the problem is, there are just too many irresponsible people wandering around our cities, right? There's just too many people who don't give a rat's ass about other people. Even if they did understand the rules, which a lot of them don't. We see that every day. The country isn't the Canada it was 40 years ago, where people were pretty responsible. When I was a kid, people were responsible. They had respect for their neighbors. They didn't do crap that would upset their neighbors because they had to live with them all there. And the kids respected the elders and all that other kind of crap that you don't see today. And people were good citizens, generally speaking. Yeah, there was a small percentage that weren't. That's why the laws were there. But today, the majority are not civil. They're wacky. Look around. You see it in Niagara Falls, stabbing, shootings. People just have no respect for other people's property. They're a bunch of losers, right? And that's the way it works. You can see it in Niagara Falls. They know right from wrong, but they just don't choose to do what's right. And they're the ones that need laws. Laws are for those that don't care. And it's getting worse out there on the streets every day. You see people getting stabbed, shot, mugged, cars stolen, hijacked. No respect for anybody. Home invasions. You see the whole thing. So I think that there has to be bans, not because of freedoms and all that. I still agree with that, but I also agree that you have to somehow control it, because if you don't, these people are irresponsible. They'll be out picnicking. They don't care. They'll be taking baths in rivers. They'll be lighting fires. They don't get it. And they leave a mess. I mean, you see it in Niagara Falls, down the parks all the time. They'll do things that harm others. It'll be a giant forest fire. They don't care. And I wish the courts would apply the same theory they're using for the fire bans to crime. Exactly what is needed. No bail, maximum sentences, and judges that will apply those maximum sentences. And I talk about crime all the time. They just, you want to get rid of crime, you've got to get tough on crime. If you're not willing to, you're never going to get rid of it. You're never going to get rid of it. So there's no ban in Niagara Falls right now that I know of. And of course, all the loonies will be screaming climate change. It's hot because of climate change. And if they can't blame it on climate change, no, it's summer. It's summer. It's just a good summer. We're having a good summer. Oh, then it's got to be Trump's fault. Trump's tariffs are doing it. It's always the same. It's always the same. So we'll see if there's a ban in the city or not. The other cities seem to be doing it. We'll see if Niagara Falls follows suit. But I don't know. If it rains tomorrow, I think everything will be settled. That old skid sitting in the thing that somebody threw in the meteor crater won't catch fire. So that's a good thing. Okay. Now, I've been speaking with some interesting people. A group called the Property Taxpayers Alliance. Have any of you out there heard about this group? I never heard about them before a couple days ago. But man, they're kind of on the same wavelength I am. It's an association of residential property taxpayers from municipalities and townships across Ontario that advocate for the efficient and effective use of the homeowners' hard-earned property tax dollars. Woo! That's what I do all the time here. I'm always taking city council to task for blowing our money. I hammer them on a regular basis about this. Quit wasting our money. That's a good group right there. Anyway, the local person representing the group in this area is a guy named Alan McKay. I don't know if you know this guy. I don't really know him. I never met him before. Don't know him. But he is pretty tuned in to the Niagara Falls situation and the Niagara region situation as far as budgets and taxes go. We've discussed on Facebook many different ways to save taxpayer dollars, not only for the city but the region. And he seems to be pretty well in tune with what's going on in the city. He's in tune as much as anybody else I've talked to anyway. So I got to get Alan on the studio, and he's coming in next Monday to discuss this further and see where it goes. For now, if you're interested, check out and join their Facebook group page, Property Taxpayers Alliance. And this is going to be an interesting conversation we're going to have because, I watch this stuff pretty closely and I talk about it a lot on my show. So if Alan is tuned in as much as I think he is, this is going to be a great discussion about taxes, Doge, how to increase government efficiency, where our taxpayer dollars are being wasted. Should be a pretty good conversation. I'm hoping that he's in tune as much as I think he is. So stay tuned for that. Monday is going to be the day he's coming in. I can't wait because I love having great conversations about city council and how they spend our money and where they spend our money and how we can find efficiencies with the government. And one of his pet peeves, like mine, is the fire department and the police department, amalgamation, all the things that we've talked about on this show so many times, but nothing's ever happened. So we're going to talk about all that. Great show on Manic Monday, so tune in for sure this coming Monday if you want to hear it. And if you can't tune in, then just go to YouTube and you'll catch the video of Alan and I discussing all this stuff. Okay, we're going to get to headlines from the U.S. Canadians are not crossing the border. And we're going to get to that after I get to my second sponsor, Pete's Pizza in Niagara Falls on Victoria Avenue over here. Now, you don't have to cross the border for a great pizza, although they do have great pizza over there, but you don't want to go over there. Just go down to Victoria Avenue, Pete's Pizza. They make one of the best pizzas in the city. And why? They're consistent. They are very consistent. They use the Mancini family recipe for their sauce and for their crust. And they know how to make a pizza. That's right. There's an art to making a pizza. You got to have the ratio of sauce to cheese right. You got to cook it just right, and you have to use fresh toppings. And that's what they do at Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. They're not a one-trick pony. You like wings with your pizza? They got them, and they're good. You like steak and cheese poutine. You like any kind of poutine. You like steak sandwiches. You like panzerotti. They have it all at Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. You can't go wrong. Give them an order today, 905-374-2222, or go to petespizzavictoria.ca and you can get your order right off of there. You can order off the website. They use Dine and Dash and all the other services. And a big announcement in the first week of September, they told me they're opening their second location in Niagara Falls. That's right, they're going to be opening at the old Pie Guys on Throwstone Road, exactly where Pie Guys used to be. For your convenience, now you can get Pete's Pizza at one end of the city, Victoria Avenue, or on Throwstone Road at Kaler. A perfect place for them, and I know they're going to do good. Congratulations. Looking forward to that opening up the first week of September. Pete's Pizza, Victoria Avenue. Support them. They support the show. Tell them Paul from your city, your voice sent you. Okay, so headlines. They scream return trips from the U.S. drop again in July as Canadians continue to shun travel to the U.S. You know, why does the media continue to push this narrative? Like the elbows up attitude of Canadians is doing any good for Canada. Like it's not doing any good for the country. Believe me, that attitude is mouthed off by that Edsel Ford up in Toronto, the loudmouth, and it's this Carney guy. And you know what? It's getting us nowhere. We still don't have any kind of a deal. Tariffs are sitting at some of the highest in the world with the United States right now. I think Syria and Brazil have the other two highest tax rates next to ours. I mean, really great countries, right? I mean, the real story, if they weren't wanting to sensationalize the news, is Canadians are spending more in Canada helping Canadians. But I don't see that. So Canadians aren't crossing the border, and they use these wild numbers like 36.7% drop. But really, the reality is overall it's like 15%. No big deal. The American dollar is really high versus the Canadian dollars. It's $8.50 to cross the bridge. And then you've got the media constantly talking about if you go over, you're going to get arrested. They're going to take your passport. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. They're constantly fear mongering. And people just aren't going over there as much for no reason because it's still a great time over there. Still good value over there. A lot of fun, good people over there. So you're not taking it away from Trump. They think they're taking it away. Oh, we're going to screw that Trump. You're not screwing Trump. You're screwing the small business guy. That's who you're screwing. Just like you do if you stay away from anywhere in Canada. And, they say, oh, our money's going to Trump. We're going to fix him. No, you're not fixing anybody. You go to Mexico, your money goes to the cartels. They take a percentage of everything, every business, every restaurant, everything there. You spend your money in Canada, they ship it off to the UK, they ship it off to Ukraine, they ship it off to Rwanda, Somalia, any country in Africa they can. So you think your tax dollars are going to go to Canadians? Yeah, forget about it. So they just make this big fear-mongering thing. They're going to do this, they're going to do that. When you get over, take your phone, arrest you. It's nonsense. Putting fear in Canadians, but the actual number is like when you take in air travel, that's 15% or something like that, right? And I think that a lot of the fear mongering actually affects the immigrants that come to Canada. A lot of them head over the river to shop and stuff. You'd see a lot of them over there, and now they're afraid to go over the border. They were probably the biggest rubber tire traffic from Toronto going over the States to shop and do things like that. Now they're afraid. They've created this fear that the United States is going to arrest them and send them back to their home country, right? Because they're here on visas and everything, or illegally, whatever they're here on. They think they're going to go over there and get arrested. So yeah, it's gone down. I would say travel's gone down just for the fear mongering. It's got to be affecting that cross border. I don't think it's so much elbows up, Canada first, and all this other stuff. Make Canada great again, all the other crap. And not only that, if you go to Las Vegas or Mexico, they'll tell you numbers are down. Tourism dollars is down from all over the place, not just from Canada. It's very, very tough. Las Vegas is suffering from inflated prices. It's so expensive to go there. You can't go. And go to the islands and see what you're paying now. You're paying huge money. Flight only if you've got a place to stay, or just to go to a resort. The $700 and $800 resorts aren't around anymore. You don't get those. You got to really, really search, and they're probably going to be not that great. But any decent resorts now, you're looking at close to $2,000 a person for a week. I remember we used to go for 2 weeks for 1,100, but that's all gone now. Since COVID, that's all gone. Everything's crazy. So, I mean, they say it's down 37% compared to a year ago, but the reality is probably close to 15% when you take into account all kinds of travel, well, planes and that. And of course, they present the numbers as bad for the U.S. Oh, we're taking the U.S. So they're learning their lesson by putting. No, they're not. They couldn't care less. They're not learning nothing. They're not learning nothing. Half the numbers are not right anyway. I think a lot of people too are just going to different destinations where it's actually cheaper. They're heading to Portugal, Spain, that kind of thing. Canadians, Italy, just because if they don't want to go to the States, they'll go. But you'll see the numbers come up. Wait till it gets cold here. You're going to see all those numbers correct themselves. All these snowbirds are going to be going to their Arizona places. They're going to be going down to their Florida condos and houses. They're going to be heading to Mexico and everywhere else. It's just the way it is. It's a beautiful summer here. Why go anywhere? And generally, as a rule, the Canadians, a lot of them do travel in Canada. They go up north and enjoy places where it's usually cold, and now it's really nice. But it's just crazy. It's just crazy. And all this border stuff. I don't want to hear about numbers going down, up or down, or anything like that. What I want to know, are Canadian businesses doing any better? Are Canadians staying home and spending their money in Canada? That's the important part, right? They don't want to go to the States and spend their money. Where are they going to spend it? Are they staying in Canada? Is it helping Canadian business? Not from anything I've heard. Not from anything I've heard. So, yeah, big deal. Big deal. Elbows up, elbows up. But thinking you're going to punish Trump, I mean, it proves nothing. And basically, the people you're punishing are the small businesses, like I said. So, your elbows up aren't doing anything. So it don't matter. If you want to blame anyone for tariffs, blame our leaders who cannot get a deal with Trump. Their arrogance, their insecurity, their inferiority complex. You name it what you want. They just can't get a deal hammered out. Neither can Syria or Brazil or any of these other places. The worst of the worst. And we're up there with it. Even Mexico with a 40% poverty rate will have a deal. Go figure. And because they are trying, they're not being a bunch of idiots about it. Claudia Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico, Trump even gave him a 90-day extension because he has faith that they're going to get a deal done. He gave him a 90-day extension. He didn't do that for Canada or Syria or Brazil. No, didn't do that for us. He did it for Mexico, though. So go figure. Go figure. Moving on. Oh, we're getting through this fast today. I might get out of here early. Hey, I like to enjoy this weather too, everybody. Yeah, it's hot in here. Speaking of Canada, how is Canada doing anyway? That's a good question. How is Canada doing? Well, not too good. At the present time, 4 provinces want out. They've had enough. And 2, Alberta and Saskatchewan for sure, and parts of BC are looking at joining the other 2 parts of BC. They're going to have binding referendums regarding leaving Canada. And just so you understand, a binding referendum gives the government the go ahead to look at separation. Now, we've seen referendums around here before. Do you remember about 30 years ago, we had a referendum on leaving the region? All they wanted was your opinion. They were never going to leave. But a binding referendum gives the government direction from the people to do whatever that referendum is about. Binding referendum on the region would have meant the city would have to take steps to get out of the region. And the same with a binding referendum on separating. If a majority of Alberta and Saskatchewan decide they want out, then Danielle Smith won't fool around. She will look at getting out of it. She wants to create a country within a country if Alberta stays in Canada. She wants nothing to do with Canada. She wants to have Alberta and Canada as their own country, and they could do it. They have the resources to do it. Interesting. And she has the backing of right now around 1/3 of Albertans. That's a pretty high percentage. It doesn't take too much to swing that one, especially if they show up to vote on this referendum. 1 out of every three, 33.3%, say they want out. You know they're going to vote that way, and you know they're going to show up. As Carney screws up the deal with the U.S., Trump doesn't even want to talk to him anymore. The odds of more Albertans wanting to leave the sinking ship grow. As Alberta goes, so does Scott Moe in Saskatchewan and BC. So does the future of Canada as a nation look good? How's Canada doing? Not that good. And I said before, Carney was appointed, not elected, to liquidate Canada, which has failed as a country and is insolvent. We're $2 trillion in debt. And Carney is giving away more money without even calling Parliament and without a budget. $213 billion to the UK for their military. $2.3 billion to the Ukraine for to rebuild their infrastructure there. $2 billion to Ukraine for weapons. And I just saw they gave another $213 million or some crazy amount to somewhere in Africa. He's just laying out the money, spending it. We don't have it. We're going to be $2 trillion in debt by the time he gets back, Parliament back, and brings down a budget. So that's what he's doing. I mean, this is contrived. It's on purpose. It's on purpose. His job is to liquidate Canada, sell it to the highest bidder. You know, it's funny. We're going to become the 51st state. Is it possible? It's not only possible, it could be inevitable. Regardless of what this elbows up crowd is telling you, it could be our destiny as a country. And we're going to find out real soon. A country cannot expect to bring in 10 million people and thrive when a small percentage are contributing. At first, the claim was we need more people. There are too many businesses that need workers, and Canadians don't want to do those jobs. Well, that was a load of BS. You go to any fast food restaurant that's hiring, and there's hundreds of applications, and they're not Canadians. Hundreds of applications, and they're skirting the laws using the student visas. I talked about that before. Oh, they do it. Canada has zero net growth over the last 6 years. Canada's population is growing at well over 1 million a year. That is called mass immigration. I call it an invasion. Rent is skyrocketing. Housing is drying up and wages are being crushed. More people, less money, no space. Welcome to the Canadian dream, because that's what it is right now. You just look around. You think I'm lying. You think I'm not right. You want to argue the point? Go ahead. But look around. Canada is failing fast, and only one of three countries without some kind of a deal with the U.S. Highest tariff countries in the world, along with Brazil and Syria, even third world Mexico. Poverty levels running at 40%. Want to get a deal made, and we'll get a deal made. And it's funny, the Mexicans, there's no codos arriba there, no elbows up there, codos arriba. They just want a deal. Now, without the West, Canada's going to be standing on one leg and be ready to topple. We're now staring down the barrel of being without its economic engine, the Western provinces. It's going to get ugly really fast. Stay tuned to these votes, these referendums. Stay tuned. They're going down. And guess what? Could be bad news all the way around from Canada. How's Canada doing? They got a temperature. They're not feeling well. The doctor don't know what to prescribe. There you go. That's it. Now, President Trump and crime in the United States. Now, I'll get to that after my third sponsor, and that is Hamel Machine Company. Been in Niagara Falls since 1948, helping industry since then. And industry needs good machine shops because when their machines break down, they can't wait for parts, especially in today's situation where a lot of parts come from China, from Taiwan, from Japan, from Germany, from other places around the world. They can't wait. And to ship them, fly them in is very expensive. So what do? They call up Hamel. Hamel goes over and says, yeah, we can fix that. We can either fix it or we can re-engineer it. They have 3D printers, water jet cutters. They can create and fabricate almost anything. And that's what they do. And while they're at it, they look at the machine and say, hey, I think if you did this, it would work better. And they come up with ways to improve production, to make them more money. They get it fixed quickly to save them money because today time is money. That's what Hamel Machine Shop does for the wine industry, for Rich's products, that product, that industry, and for the agricultural industry. They ship their inventions, their improvements all over the world. That's what they do. That little place over here on Bridge Street and down on Ken Avenue, worldwide global shipping. That's what they do with their innovations. Hamel Machine Company, go to hamelmachine.ca to see all the beautiful work that they do and how they help industry in Niagara Falls. And they haven't forgot about us, though. Don't worry about it. You've got something wrong with your lawnmower, you sheared a pin on your snowblower, whatever. Take it to Hamel. They can fix it for you. They can mill it. They can machine it. They can improve it even if they have to. So they're that good. Hamel Machine Company, hamelmachine.ca in Niagara Falls since 1948. Support our sponsors. They support the city. They support the show. They're really good corporate citizens, and we want to support our local business. President Trump. I never get tired of listening to President Trump. Well, he's not fooling around with crime any longer in the United States. And when we see Canada and what's going on in Canada, in Ontario, in the region, in the city, people getting shot, home invasions, I wish we had Trump here. But the first city he's going to clean up is Washington, D.C., where the White House is, where the Capitol building is. He's cleaning that up first because it is a criminal shame what's happened to that city. Gangs have taken over, and they know how to run them so that these judges, these weak judges, and these weak prosecutors keep letting them out. So he's taking the southern border under control. He's got that under control now. He's got the military there. And Tom Homan, director of ICE, has taken thousands of illegals off the streets, sending them back where they came from via Alligator, Alcatraz. Now it's time to clean up the sanctuary cities that are inundated with crime, starting with Washington, D.C. He had a press conference there yesterday, and he's not only taken over the city, the feds have taken over the city. He's called in the National Guard to take down the criminals, move the homeless to other locations, and end the sanctuary city zero bail mandate. That's right. You get caught in a crime, you get out on bail. You don't have to post bail. Zero bail, you're out. Go, you're out. No problem. You're out. And that's what he's done. So he's taken away that zero bail. There's going to be bail now. You want out, you got to post bail. If you can't afford it, you stay in the slammer. On national TV yesterday, Trump called yesterday Liberation Day, the day that Washington is freed from the hold of criminal gangs that now run the city. Muriel Bowser, the DC mayor, says there's nothing she can do to stop Trump from taking over. It's all legal. She was furious. She went through every legal channel, and there's nothing she can do. Thank God she just done a terrible job of dealing with crime in D.C. and her contention that he has taken over. Well, he's doing the job she was elected to do and just could not get done. And you've seen these stories about muggings and killings and murders and rapes. And the latest one, I think the one that broke the camel's back was the guy from Doge who fought off 12 people beating him up. He's alive, but he got beat up pretty bad. That was it. And then, they're just walking down the street. They're not doing anything. Walking down the street to their car or whatever. Defending DC's right to be a lawless entity, and people should not have to live in fear. And there's millions of tourists that come to DC to see the White House and the Capitol building and the Lincoln Memorial and the Jefferson Memorial. Why should they live in fear because the mayor can't do her job? Well, it's over. If she did her job, Trump wouldn't have to step in. But she won't. She can't. I don't know. Woke Democrats. Standing with Pam Bondi, Attorney General Peter Hegseth, Department of Defense Kash Patel, standing with Pam Bondi, she's the Attorney General, Peter Hegseth, Department of Defense, head of the Department of Defense, Kash Patel, the FBI, Doug Burgum, Department of the Interior, and Jeanine Pirro, Attorney General of Washington. Yeah, she's tough. Trump announced takeover of DC police and mobilization of the National Guard, sending 800 National Guard to restore order to the city. This is fantastic. This is what we need in Canada. This is definitely something we need. There's way too much crime, and there's way too many people walking the streets that shouldn't even be in Canada. They've got to be sent packing. We need our own ICE. And this isn't the end of it. Once he cleans up Washington, see how it works out, he said he's going to clean up other sanctuary cities and sanctuary state cities. You can take this formula, go to New York, go to Chicago, cities where crime has taken over the city. That's where he's sending them. And the mayor of Washington, she didn't say much about it. She knows that there's nothing she can do about it. Cashless bail is going out the window. There'd be no pretrial release without bail. People are going to be held responsible, and this includes juveniles. And this is the big deal in DC, juveniles. Juveniles are committing crimes because they know they can't be arrested. They don't get tried. Well, that's all going to change. That's all going to change. They're not getting away with it anymore. And that was one of the big points Judge Janine's made. They know their game. They know what they're doing. They're not getting away with it anymore. They're going to jail. Have to come up with bail. You want to stop crime? You got to get tough on crime. And do we need this in Canada? Every day I see these guys. I just saw one. There was somebody in Thorold arrested some, I don't know, offshore person. And he was, I don't know, roping people or something. There was some release. Niagara 411 had it. And it was not his first offense. And they finally caught him. Right? Now this guy, my three demandments: detain, deport, incarcerate. Detain, deport, incarcerate. You detain these people. If they're not citizens, deport them back to their countries if they break the law. Or if they are citizens, incarcerate them. 3 options. First, detain. Second, deport. Third, incarcerate. It's so easy. And then we've got to get our judges and weak courts on side and start applying maximum sentences. You want to stop crime, you got to get serious. $25,000 fine for walking through the woods, but a guy with a record from here to Toronto is walking the streets, just doing it all over again. That's how it works right now. That's got to be changed. Where's our Donald Trump? Where's our guy who's going to take this and make it work for Canadians? Why should taxpayers have to worry about going out in the street? Why should honest, hardworking citizens be worried about it? We shouldn't have to be. The Liberals have taken this legal system and turned it upside down. Criminals are victims, victims are criminals. That's how this legal system works. It's got to change. It's got to change fast. Trump is going to do it. They're not getting away with it anymore. Tough on crime. Who's tough on crime? That's what I want. I want to see somebody who's tough on crime. I interviewed every candidate for city council. We talked about, are you going to be tough on crime? What's your stance on being tough on crime? Oh, yeah. And it doesn't mean anything. Talk. A lot of talk. No action. There's not one that's tough on crime. Oh, they'll be good. They'll be good. We'll let them all. You can be rehabilitated. No, they're not going to be rehabilitated. They're going to be deported or sent to jail. That's where they belong. Great to see that yesterday. So, we're going to get to Friday because that's a big day coming up. I'll talk about that in a minute, but I got to get to my last sponsor, the Niagara Parks Commission, because I'm ending this early today. Niagara Parks Commission, we in Niagara Falls should be going down to the Niagara Parks more often. It's beautiful. The Niagara Parks Commission is the custodian of 32 miles of the most beautiful parkway and green space in Canada, maybe in the world. They take care of it. In the center of this 32 miles of parkway from Fort Erie, Lake Erie to Niagara-on-the-Lake, Lake Ontario, Lake to Lake, is the falls themselves. You go see the falls. You wonder at it. How would you like to go down to the river and look at it? How would you like to stand right beside it? Well, they have those attractions, the Niagara Parks Commission, Table Rock House, scenic tunnels, and the Rankin Power Station that they've refurbished. They'll show you how it worked, and they'll let you go through the wash tunnel right to the edge of the falls, to the edge of the river. And they have zip lines. You can zip line and take in all the wonder of the American and Canadian Falls. You can go to the Great Gorge trip, stand beside a grade 6 rapid so bad that you can't navigate them in a boat. Yes, Category 6 rapids, unbelievable. We have the whirlpool. We have the aero car that goes over the whirlpool so you can look at it from above. You've got the Glen. You can wander through nature trails if they don't ban that, and enjoy it down by the river. It's amazing. Niagara Falls, and the Parks Commission are the custodians of all of it. They have great packages so you can enjoy all the attractions at one low price. They have great parking passes that you can buy if you're from Ontario anyway for the season. $50 for the season rather than paying $36 a hit. Niagara Parks Commission, they do it all, and people in Niagara Falls don't take advantage of it enough because I can hear the falls from my house this morning. So we take it for granted. Now, at the end of the month, they're opening a new attraction called Flight Over the Falls. I believe that's what it's called. I'll get you the name here. Let's see. It's called Niagara Takes Flight. And basically, it takes you through an interactive and immersive experience of flying down the Niagara River, taking a look at history as you go along the way, going over the falls, up to Fort Erie, the battles along that river, the War of 1812. They bring you an immersive, historic view of everything. This is going to be fantastic. It's been a few years in the making. It's going to be fantastic when it opens the end of the month. Niagara Parks Commission, NiagaraParks.com is where you go to see all the different attractions and everything they have to offer. Get there today. Support our sponsors. They support the show. Niagara Parks Commission, just beautiful. And you can even see Bob Gale's goats along the parkway. That's right. Bob Gale has goats eating the grass rather than using a lawnmower. Amazing. I love goats. Okay, a big day in world news on Friday. This is going to be something. Trump is going to meet with Putin in Alaska to see if they can finally hammer out some kind of an arrangement and end the war in the Ukraine. Most people think that a part of any deal would be territorial concessions on both sides of the coin. A lot of people think that Russia is going to make outrageous demands. And of course, the left-wing media has no clue how Trump operates. They say Trump will meet his demands, which no, Trump doesn't meet anybody's demands. What Trump does is negotiate. He negotiates a settlement that is palatable to both sides. Listen, the United States has no skin in the game. The war's being fought in Europe, not in North America. He wants to see it end because he's sick of and tired of the killing. A generation of men have been lost in Ukraine and Russia. Wants to end it. And he can't meet anybody's demands. First off, it's not Trump's decision to make any demands of the Ukraine or Russia. And second, Trump is from North America. He's just trying to mediate this thing and to end this war on terms everybody agrees with. If they want to fight and die, that's their choice. It isn't affecting Americans, who are Trump's main concern. The woke media just don't get this, though. Trump is trying to mediate an end to the war, which has killed millions. Will Zelensky be at this meeting? Who knows? He wasn't mentioned, but he could still show up, and we'll see. But the sooner this war is over, the better. Let's hope Trump can mediate something. Trump says he will call Zelensky and the European leaders after the meeting to tell them what kind of deal was discussed. But he said, I'm not going to make a deal. It's not up to me to make a deal. I can't make the deal. I mean, his role is just to mediate a deal, not to make it. The final decision comes to the parties involved. But Trump really thought it was very respectful of Putin to come to the U.S., Alaska, for the meeting instead of insisting that Trump goes to Russia for it. We'll see what Friday brings. It's going to be something to behold, this meeting. I mean, they're getting together. And Trump always says that he got along good with Putin. He wants to be firm with Putin. He was really PO'd at Putin about a week or two ago because he's not ending this war like he said he wanted to. Zelensky isn't either. And Zelensky don't care. He's just a power-hungry guy. You know, he's scamming a lot of money. Ukraine's always been dirty anyway. But it's got to end. Trump wants it to end. He end the turmoil in Africa between the two countries. He ended the fighting between Cambodia and Thailand. He's put a stop to a lot of different skirmishes around the world right now, probably about 6 of them. And in the last two were Israel and Hamas, and Israel just said they're going to go and wipe out Hamas and take over Gaza, which is good. Get rid of them and get the Palestinians going again. And in the Ukraine-Russian skirmish, that's the last one. And then we're back to where it was before Biden took over. Not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. Anyway, that's it for me today. I'm done. Tomorrow is absolutely all Habs all show. You tune in tomorrow, Wednesday at noon, and you're going to hear about the Montreal Canadiens. That's what I talk about on Wednesdays. All Habs all show called Habsolutely. Thursday is going to be Straight Talk Thursday, our normal Thursday show. Finally, Friday to end the week. And then Monday, Alan McKay is coming in from the, what I call that group? The, let's get this name right. Come on, let's look it up because I'll get it wrong. Taxpayers, let's see what I call that. Oh, I write it down because I can't remember all of this stuff a lot of times. Let's see. Alan McKay from the Property Taxpayers Alliance. I got it. Property Taxpayers Alliance is coming in, and we're going to discuss the budget, money, Doge, efficiency, amalgamation, you name it. We're going to cover it. Going to be a good show on Monday. Tune in. My name is Paul Calamere. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from the studios of 4680Q Radio in downtown Niagara Falls. Ontario, Canada, across from the Meteor Crater. Don't forget to support our sponsors. They're such good corporate citizens. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Hamill Machine Company, Pizza on Victoria Avenue, and Niagara Parks Commission. Unbelievable. Our sponsors, we love our sponsors. God bless you all. Have a great day. Enjoy this day. I'm gonna before we get rain tomorrow. Oh, we hope we get rain tomorrow. Come on, rain. I know everybody's going, are you crazy? Why do you want rain? Are you nuts? We need a little bit of rain. Everything's too dry. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of the day. Enjoy this afternoon. We'll talk to you tomorrow with Absolutely. Friday, Straight Talk Thursday, Straight Talk Thursday. Ciao, ciao for now.